Good morning. It is Sunday, so I am going to do a yard walk, and I thought I'd just take you along the good, the bad, and the ugly of where the garden is right now. And some things are really working, some things are coming out of their best face. But just wanted to bring you along for where we are at the beginning of September here this year. Well, let's start with the ugly. This garden, the kitchen garden, is not looking very great right now. The corn were getting eaten by rats. They were climbing up the stalks and stripping the kernels off the cobs, so I pulled a lot of them out, and I've planted garlic where things are missing, but it's not coming up yet. But I did get to cut this hedge back, and I only planted this a couple years ago, 3 years ago. And the plant that is going to be, that's evergreen here, is called Catalina cherry. And it's got a really, I mean, we have morning dew right now, but it's got a really glossy leaf. And some of it is 10 feet tall right up there. So that's cool. That's really neat that that's getting tall enough to really provide us a screen. And then this is a Rogers red grape, and it's gone bananas this year. It has the most gorgeous fall color. This is nothing, that's just it starting, but it's just the most vibrant, beautiful red. And then I did come in finally and cut back this bad mustard that was over there. And I've got, bags and trash cans of green waste, and I pulled the cilantro and the broccoli out of this bed because cilantro was bolting, broccoli was eaten by bunnies, and planted garlic and onions. So I can see that some of them are there coming up, and there's a tomato that's self-seeded there in the middle. It's a cherry tomato, and it's sprawling everywhere, but it's happy that way, so we're gonna get a lot of tomatoes off of it. And then we have the basil bed over there, and another self-seeded tomato. So I did bring supplies over to make an enclosure for the beds to keep critters out, but decided not to do that the other day. But this rose is looking beautiful. It's kind of hard to see it when it looks down, but it's the Claire Austin rose. It's a climber, so I'm gonna try to get it to climb this way. And so this is kind of looking ugly over here right now. I keep coming in and pulling the flowers off the basil because that'll keep it from bolting, and it'll actually split there and make more leaves. So if your basil starts to bolt, pull the flowers off. But we've really been enjoying this. I can't believe I planted it from seed and it did so well. And then I recently put these two beds together, raised beds, and put broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and saffron crocus. There's saffron crocus in the front, which I don't see any action out of the crocus yet, but I have faith it will do its thing in the spring. So this was a compost. We just dumped the compost out into it, and I didn't even water it, and these tomatoes started coming up, so I ended up running irrigation to it, and now we're gonna have a lot of tomatoes from this. And we're just starting to see green coming out on these potatoes that hadn't pre-sprouted that I planted. And the ones that were pre-sprouted here are starting to die back, so that means the potatoes are getting ready to harvest. And this is our lovely cardboard collection here. We're collecting cardboard again to make a push to make further paths. And they get all stacked nicely, and then the wind blows them around, so that's what's going on there. And on the side yard here, I want to have, maybe next year I'll get it looking better, but this side I want it to have more of a cohesive look. And so I planted more gladiolas down there because there were some here that were wonderful earlier in the year. And then these ranunculus, I planted, I don't know, 50, and we only have 10 that came up. I don't know why, but maybe they'll get more consistent water over the winter and come up better in the spring. And this catnip here is ready to be cut back, but I've been leaving it because the finches come and just eat the seeds like crazy. But you can see here in the middle there's new blooms coming, so I think I can come in now and cut back the old spent blooms. And my statue, luckily I raised it up or it would be completely buried underneath all this greenery here. So these are the new gladiolas that are coming up. They're not looking too healthy. I do have rust happening. See how the leaves are all bright yellow? So that's a fungal issue. And kind of lettucey looking things are calendula. So I'm just kind of letting them do their best this year, because then hopefully they're getting some nutrients to grow taller next year. The rust will all be killed over the winter when we get frosts. So I'll cut them back once they're done blooming and hope they come back next year. And then this is the Tyrell dahlia, and it is just beautiful. I'm starting to let my dahlias go to seed because I've been watching videos and I want to try to collect seed and grow some interesting new variants. And then on this side I cut back the lemon balm and the catnip a couple weeks ago, and they're already starting to flush back, so I know those will be up and ready for making flowers and seeds for the birds over the winter. So this is the little vestibule area between the two gardens. And I came in recently and planted a heronsbill ground cover here and more columbine, a yellow columbine. And I don't think they got enough nutrients or consistent water or something. I planted 3, there's 1, 2, 3 Casablanca lilies, and they just didn't do well on that side. And then I can only see this mess, one of them there, and I didn't get any flowers off them this year, but they will, if I just leave them alone, they will, and then fertilize everything in the winter and the spring. I think they'll come back better next year. But I like the way that this is, you know, the lion's tail sage and the arbor are creating really a wall between these two gardens, a nice green wall, and that's what I wanted to have here. And this is potato vine. It's really been very rewarding. It's really pretty white flowers, and it's getting tall enough. And then the rose, the yellow rose on this side is finally starting to get taller, so it's gonna get wound into the arbor, and then they'll mix over the top, and it'll be really cool. So coming through here into my office garden, a little bit of blue there. One of the blue waterfall campanulas is starting. And there's a lot of grass I gotta get out of there, but not gonna happen when it's hot out, because I know we have a lot of snakes in this area. This is night blooming jasmine or jessamine, and in this area it dies back every year to nothing and then grows back, and it has just the most amazing scent, and it's night blooming, so that the scent is at night. This was supposed to be a different color dahlia, HS date, I believe. Kind of looked peach in the photos, but turns out to be kind of yellow. But this area I did a lot of work in this year, and yeah, the hose is strung out because it's been so hot. I've been watering from this side to that side every day, and then I leave it there and water back the other direction. Just saves me an extra trip with my legs. And here's our, this has become my work table here. Here's all the propagation that I did, and things are kind of looking okay. Which one's this? This is an orange dahlia. This one is Joey Nikki, so it's the pink ball dahlia, pink and orange. This one's Tyrell. These are the hydrangeas, this bloodleaf, coleus, and then one more Tyrell dahlia. So that's where I keep that. And looking this way, it's nice. This line's tail. So I have two different types. This one blooms later. The other one that I've already cut back over there has bloomed already. So we continue to have this orange, you know, real fluffy orange flower in this area through the whole season. And some of my favorite dahlias here. This one is Gallery Pablo. It's a border dahlia. And then this one, this is Autumn Joy Sedum. This is Apple Blossom. And I see behind this lemon verbena, I see more. This one's kind of fallen over, but then it's correcting itself, and more stalks are going to come up. And this is Lizzianthus. It's fallen over, but look, new starts. And then these are all the little seedlings I planted, and they're doing well. I haven't gotten back to do the irrigation in this area, so I've been watering everything by hand, which is tedious, but I've been tired. So things are starting to come together in here. This is all the lemon balm I cut back recently, flushing back. Isn't that pretty? This is one I planted 3 years ago, and it still comes back. Luckily hasn't been eaten by a gopher. So blue and orange are complementary colors. That's why I have blue and orange in here. This area I recently planted. So this I just planted up with the strawflower, asters, and snapdragons. And I think also some stock. And everything's coming in pretty much. This is pretty. So I have 4 types of dahlias in this area. This white one, which could be either Daydreamer or Sheer Heaven. It's a yellowy, peachy color. And then this orange one that I don't know the name of, unfortunately. Autumn Joy Sedum. The dahlias, not dahlias, zinnias are starting to come up. Volunteer tomato in here. And then this one, I believe, again, is either Daydreamer or Sheer Heaven. And what's he do? This one is definitely Joey Nikki. And this year I got these planted up with finally got those kumquat trees in there, and so it's looking neat. And then the little seedlings around the bottom are starting to show their heads, and that'll be really pretty and colorful here pretty soon. And eventually this hedge of grevillea and hydrangeas will grow up taller than this lobelia, which I probably should just come and go cut the top of it off. And then that'll create another green wall between these two gardens. Aren't these a cool plant? This is the cousin-it. Really does look like cousin-it. So I had those on either side to kind of create a entrance. And this was going to be my Zen garden, but I started putting, because we had this red bottle brush here, I started putting red flowers and plants in here. So it's become the red garden. And it may not be that forever, but for now I have a lot of red perennials and annuals in here. And other colors, reds, purples, pinks. But really the mark of a more Zen garden is a lot of greens, evergreens, different shades of green. So I did plant a blue cypress there, and then recently planted this Mugu pine there. And there is a Japanese maple there. It's very young. It's not doing very well. They grow so slowly. And I'm letting these go to seed and collecting the seed. I'll make a video about that soon, about how to do the dahlia seeds and zinnia seeds. These zinnias are just starting to pop here. But I fixed the water in this area, and this area is looking so much happier. It was looking really bad for a while. Nothing was happening. And so I just have to hand water for now these seedlings that I put in that aren't quite hit by the irrigation. So it's taking time, but it's pleasant. These have been really impressive this year. These are balsam impatiens. I have another Japanese maple there. So the balsam impatiens, their seed pods look like this, and like most impatiens, when you roll them, they pop and disperse their seed. They kind of throw it, and they look like these little caterpillars. Roll it up, it throws its seed everywhere, and that's how it spreads itself. But I mean, that in nature, it just, once it's dry enough, it pops once it's ripe. So you don't have to come along and pop them. But I think it's starting to look nice in this area, nicer. And I do have a peach tree over there that'll kind of block the view of the, oh, and then that blue cypress is going to grow up there. Okay. Coming this way into the zinnia field. This has just been so rewarding. These zinnias are just make me so happy every day. Walk out here. I need to do more next year. I'm gonna do way more. I'm gonna do them everywhere back there. And on this side. So I'm gonna let these go to seed. I am cutting a lot of them to make arrangements, but I'm gonna go ahead and let them go to seed. And gather the seed and plant it next year, and it's gonna cross-pollinate, so it'll be even more interesting next year. So I have fruit trees mixed in here, fruit trees and roses. There's a pomegranate, some guavas, and a sapote here. And then this rose in there has been blooming again. It's the Lady Gardner rose, if I can get close enough. Lady Gardener from David Austin. And it's got some really tall branches coming up, stems. And I really wanted it to intermingle with these zinnias, and it's totally doing it. It's really beautiful. Look at these, you know, the branches come and arch over into the middle of the zinnias. And then the roses. So that's fun. And yes, we have many weeds in here. Not so much time. But isn't this just wonderful? I have a couple favorite parts of the garden right now, and this is definitely one of them. Aloes are doing well, and the agave. I'm really happy. They're taking to their new home well. And some of the sunflowers I planted are coming up. This loquat is doing well, and the apple is doing well. And the weeds are doing really well. They love the water. They love being watered. And they're coming up everywhere. But there are some of the sunflowers coming up, and some of the dahlias that I planted from seed are also, there's one in the middle there coming up. So some of them are working. I probably should have left the weeds here and put the seeds under them and then taken the weeds out. I don't know. Anywho. And look at this beautiful Fuji apple. That's great, huh? So this tree, I think, will do well here. Some of the big sunflowers are coming up again, here and here. Hard to see amongst all the weeds. Looking at the blue garden here. It's another area I did a big push. And we do have some of the seedlings that I planted are coming up here, or seeds. But a lot of them, again, got eaten by birds. These kangaroo paws are really cool, and they're doing well. Very happy here. And I do think I can split them at some point and spread them out more. I need to cut this back, this Pride Madeira. I really have to really cut it back quite a bit, I think. Finally gave the passion fruit a haircut. So then we leave this out here to dry. It makes it much less bulky, and then we'll gather it all up. But it is looking really good. I didn't really want it to go this far. I wanted to leave a so you could see from the gazebo into the sport court here. But look at the size of that passion fruit. This is one plant. I need to give the other side a haircut too, but it is very happy here. Likes it. We're gonna have a lot of passion fruits. And when we cut it, we did get, there were quite a few not mature passion fruits on it, maybe 50. Maybe they'll ripen, we're holding on to them, but if not, that's nothing. I mean, there's hundreds on there. So losing 50 to have a more healthy plant is not a big loss. I like these little kind of shady tree tunnels. So recently came in and planted coleus here. And I did come in, yep, there's one. I came in with a geranium here. It's the purpley, pinky purple geranium that's up over there. And really cut the ivy back in this area, you know, pulled it back 5 feet and put the coleus in. There are a few begonias in here that were almost nothing. But I do see them trying. I thought, well, I'll plant them anyway. Coleus, another begonia trying. this, I like how these are turning out, these coral heuchera. And I'm propagating that pink hydrangea, and I want to put one right there. I want to put some along this side because I really love how it is such a big impact plant. So coming into the shade garden here. There's that hydrangea, it's so pretty. And just did a lot of work recently in here. I like how this is coming together in here. Pinks and purples. And I have a lot of this geranium measurements coming up. So if it's not in a good spot, I might have to move it. I like being able to see this little pop of purple, the ageratum back in there. This poor man's rhododendron is doing really well right there. And I just put more coleus up in this way. So coming down in through here. This got tipped over. I use these big heavy containers for either to lift up other plants in pots or to put green waste in different gardens, different parts of the garden. So I'm really happy with the way that this shade garden's coming together. We never sit in here. We can move that bench. I don't know why it's there. I think I imagined we'd sit in here. So this is the geranium I'm trying to spread around in this area. It's just a really bright pinky purple kind of a color. Taking a look at the blue garden area. Remember the name of this one, but it's doing really well. Just started that from seed, put them in. Starting to see more of it. This is chickweed. It's a weed, but it's green. I see some more of the Love and a Mist. What is that called? Can't remember the botanical name right now. But I see a lot of it coming up. A lot of seeds of that are working. Have a blue columbine there. So next year this is going to be even better. This is honeywort. That's when I started from seed and over the winter or spring. Here's more of the blue, mountain bluebell, desert bluebell, something like that. And there was one, here it is. Whoopsie-doo. One of the alyssum, a little purple flower here. So those actually attract hoverflies, which are predators of the Asian citrus psyllid. So you want to plant things that have little flowers, so that'll attract predators and protect your citrus. I'm hoping this blue anemone, the decaying blue anemone, it's got seeds, all that white fluffy there is the seeds of it, and I'm hoping it'll grow more. It's bulbs, so it'll come back next year as long as no critters eat them. Here's one of the flowers in blue. And the blue toad lily is doing well that I planted. This looks like another anemone here. So some things are coming up. That's good. Another blue columbine coming up. And the buddleia is doing okay that I planted. There's another blue honeywort. This area, crickets. I don't know what happened here. Maybe it's not enough water for this. I really need to rework my water. Oh, there's a giant mosquito. I need to rework my irrigation because there's definitely, I need to rework where things are coming from, put them on more timers, split it off into shorter runs. The 2 blue hydrangeas that I added this year, they're all bloomed out, but the leaves are looking good. I need to cut them back. We do have powdery mildew on some of them, but the frost will take care of that in the winter. And the Brunnera that I planted is doing well. And a still bee, it's the green leaf here. And then I've started to put some spider plants out here. Whenever I have a plant in the pool room that's just throwing off tons and tons of pups, so I'm just gonna put them in areas where they will work out here. And here we go into the orchard. I guess I can, since there's no more fruit on this, I can take my extra protection down on that peach tree. It didn't deter the squirrel. Squirrel got about half of them. Let's see, let's look at the shade line here. So the hostas I planted are doing well. I'm gonna come in here soon. This is a cranberry viburnum, verbena. Plant that soon in this area. Just reworked this water a little bit. Dahlias are doing well. Anemones and ranunculus here are doing well. And the cosmos are just going for it right now. Look at this and then this. I just came in with seedlings the other day of a bunch of stuff, so I gotta be careful, but look at this dahlia. Look at that. Labyrinth dahlia. And the petals curve all the way back around and make it like a... Isn't that amazing? They curl all the way back around the back. It's a labyrinth dahlia. It's amazing. And then this one is a cafe au lait dahlia. The Paris and Spring ranunculus. There were whites and pinks. And with that were these anemone. I'm really proud of this area. I don't think I've even put the video up of it yet. Or maybe I just did, but probably not. So this is a shady area. There was a acacia tree in here. I see one more back there. We really have decided to just take them all out because they spread and they're just no bueno. But I repurposed this lamp into a garden sculpture, and it looks like the little sedum that I put in the old lamp, the light bulb connectors are doing well. And I got a lot of, rescue plants that I put in this area. These hostas were rescues. They look fine. That's the guacamole hosta. The anemones were rescues. The hellebores were rescues. So it's really beneficial. It's really a good idea to go to garden centers and you know, they pull plants all the time, and some of them can sell them still at discounts. Some of them don't. It depends on what their vendor has given them as instructions. But this area, I really enjoy it. I love this. The weeping tree here is a Australian or New Zealand peppermint tree. And it's evergreen, so it's not like a weeping willow that loses its leaves in the winter. It's evergreen. I'll go down from the other side here on the orchard. The fall gold raspberries look like they're gonna start to produce raspberries here soon. This arborescent hydrangea spreads. I didn't know that, but I'm thrilled. It's wonderful. Some chives I planted are starting to bloom. Lavender. Look at these dahlias, they're beautiful. I think this one is Florel, I believe. It's got a yellow center. I think once it's all the way open, it'll be more yellow. Because this one is definitely Cafe au Lait, and it was a trio. Cafe au Lait, Florel, and one other one that was purple. It's back in there. Plums are done for the season. This is another labyrinth dahlia here. Recently been able to get this area weeded, so then I came in and planted more seedlings that I had started, snapdragons, stock, so that'll start coming up here soon. Aren't these pretty? Started those from seed in this area. Birds didn't get them. I'm always amazed when birds don't get the seeds I plant. That was a mix, Cosmo mix. This has been one of my favorite dahlias as well. I like how it has the curly petals around the center. Letting them go to seed. So just came into this area and put more snapdragons, stock, and chives in. Here's the Lisianthus. And then this rose, I think, is Sceptred Isle. So once it opens, it has a yellow, very yellow center. And the dahlias, that's Gallery Bellini back there. And Breakout. That dahlia back there is Breakout. Don't know what this one is yet. It's gonna bloom. But I know I have Breakout, Labyrinth, and Cafe au Lait in here mainly. They're all gonna start looking bad because I'm letting them go to seed, but here's Breakout. Though this area really developed this year. I think it was mainly just the fruit trees and a few lavender maybe. So I put in the roses, the cosmos, the dahlias, the anemone, the catmint. There's some oregano in here, lavender, chives. Zinnias are starting to come up. Some echinacea. So put all of that in here this year. It's pretty amazing to think back. And we're getting close to apple season. Getting close. Apples are getting big. I did try one the other day and it's not quite done. Not quite there. Let's go down and take a look at the veggie bed down there. This is the upper veggie beds, and these have really been a fail this year. I don't know what's wrong with the water. Maybe it's because it's at the end of a run. So again, this is an area where I'm going to add a new timer over here and kind of break this area off of the other system. This whole bed, nothing's really happened, but these are doing well. The blackberries that I planted, I mean, they were so tiny when they came, and now I'm sure they're going to do what I want them to do and fill this whole area in. Grow this. Look at the size of the blackberries on them. They're huge and they're so good. I've eaten a couple. And this purple one is it's a relative of hibiscus. It'll come to me. So I've been hand watering again these beds a little more, but the carrots have been doing well, surprisingly. At least in these two beds, the carrots have been doing well. And the tomatoes look really sad because they weren't getting enough water, but we've been getting tomatoes off of them. And this is a great thing. I really thought I'd have gotten to filling all the spaces up by now, but I haven't gotten around to it. So one of these days I'll go dig up more strawberries and fill this tower up. I haven't done much in this area this year, except for planting the currant. That was one of the first things I did after I could start moving around again once my leg was healed. So that one's doing pretty well. This is going to create a really nice green wall back here, green screen. And these anemones are doing well. Starting to kind of spread themselves. That's good. It's the kind of thing I want to have spread. This garden is, I can't believe I did all this year too. It's amazing. So I planted the roses, the echinacea, the lavender, the lisianthus, these I started from seed, the moonlight calendula? No, moonlight marigold. And then I just came in and put stock and snapdragon seeds in, because all the seeds I planted back there, nothing came up. None of the larkspur, none of the zinnias. That was a bummer. This is gonna start blooming, this lisianthus here. And this rose is so beautiful. This is the Windermere. Look at the bud. So pretty. It's more of a kind of a peach, not peach. It's just got a very light pink to it. And then this one is Nye Bevan, or Nye Bevan, N-Y-E. Don't know how to say it. It's a little more yellow. But this whole area is really, shoot the sun, really, yellows and purples. That's what I wanted. And it's looking great. It's almost time to hedge up the feijoa hedge here. This bee balm is beautiful. I think I planted that a couple years ago from seed, and it's really doing well here. This is the Citron de Cap dahlia. It's really pretty. And this rose is one of my favorites. Why can I not remember the name? But I just think it's beautiful, yellow. That's gonna do it for me for today. Just wanted to kind of take a walk around and look at the areas that are working, the areas that need work, and the areas that I'm just imagining what's gonna happen. Because a year ago, last week, I fell and broke my femur, the spiral fracture of my femur, and then had to have major surgery on it. So in that last year, I spent 7 of the months in bed. So to come and take a look at the garden and see the parts that I've really made progress on this year, that I was able to do even though I was so physically limited, is really rewarding and has been really fun. I mean, if I hadn't been documenting this, I would not realize how much I had done. So it's been pretty amazing that I'm glad I started documenting my progress here, and I think it's just going to keep getting better. I do have to have my other knee replaced in a couple months, so that'll slow me down, but I'm going to do it over the winter, so it will just be knitting season anyway, you know. But thank you for joining me. It was not a very organized walk around the yard, but I hope that you enjoyed seeing the progress and where it is at this time of the year. There are some parts that are good, some parts that are bad, and some parts that are really ugly. But that's gardening. It's not always perfect, and I'm a gardener, and I'm just going to keep working on it. So thank you for joining me, and I will catch up with you next time. Bye-bye.